Hello, YouTube. Um, for today. Um, this is going to be called Akhenatens, Hymn to the Aten, because, I have been, um, it's amazing the things we come up with, when we're looking online, but I really enjoy ancient history. And I've always been real spiritual in that I've always wanted to understand really what it was about our ancestors and what they were all about. And it's been an amazing situation to learn this stuff. But, sometimes we even as we journey through information and history and we look at, where we've been, and especially being black, black, I like the word black. I think it kind of sums up the totality of being black, because I think being black is actually very a wonderful blessing. I'm beginning to. It's amazing at this age that I'm starting to realize that this term Negro has become back into the spotlight. It seems like we were ready to let go of the word Negro for a while, and then it comes back because I heard it said, and I think there was actually a reggae artist that had said it once. He said, "Where's Negro land?" And somebody showed Negro land on the map. So wow. Um, we are taught. I think we're kind of conditioned to only go up to a certain amount of history as we're going through life, and people just stop right there. They don't go any further than that. They don't. They don't dare venture beyond that for some reason I don't understand, because there was so much more going on before this certain period of history, like the Noah and the flood. Really, it's like that's just where you start. It's like that life didn't start there. Life started way before then. There was much more going on. So at any rate, through my travels, I have come across this Akhenatens hymn to the Aten, and I was very fascinated by this. So I decided I would read this. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to read this because I just think it's cool. I think it's very powerful too. So, Akhenatens, hymn to the Aten. Worship Reharakti, who rejoices in the horizon, in his name as the Shu, who is in the Aten, living forever and ever, the living Aten, the great one who is in Jubilee, master of all that the Aten encircles, master of heaven, master of the earth, master of the Per Aten in Akhenatens, and the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, the one living on Ma'at, master of regalia, Akhenaten, the long-lived and the foremost wife of the king, whom he loves, the mistress of two lands, Neferneferu Aten Nefertiti, living, well, and young forever and ever. He says, "You rise in perfection on the horizon of the sky, living Aten, who started life. Whenever you are risen upon the eastern horizon, you fill every land with your perfection. You are appealing, great, sparkling, high over every land. Your rays hold together the land as far as everything you have made. Since you are you reach as far as they do, and you curb them for your beloved Son. Although you are far away, your rays are upon the land. You are in their faces, yet your departure is not observed. Whenever you set on the western horizon, the land is in darkness in the manner of death. They sleep in a bedroom with heads under the covers, and one eye does not see another. If all their possessions which are under their heads were stolen, they would not know it. Every lion who comes out of his cave and all the serpents bite, for darkness is a blanket. The land is silent now. because he who made them is at rest on his horizon. But when day breaks, you are risen upon the horizon, and you shine as the Aten in the daytime. When you dispel darkness and you give forth your rays, the two lands are in festival, alert and standing on their feet. Now that you have raised them up, their bodies are clean and their clothes have been put on. Their arms are lifted in praise at your rising. The entire land performs its work. All the cattle are content with their fodder. Trees and plants grow. Birds fly up to their nests, their wings extended in praise for your Ka. All the kind practice on their feet. Everything which flies up and alights, they live when you have risen for them. The barges sail upstream and downstream too, for every way is open at your arising. The fishes in the river leap before your face when your rays are in the sea. You who have placed seed in woman and have made sperm into man, who feeds the son in the womb of his mother, who quiets him with something to stop his crying. You are the nurse in the womb, giving breath to nourish all that has been begotten. When he comes down from the womb to breathe on the day he is born, you open up his mouth completely and supply his needs. When the fledgling in the egg speaks in the shell, you give him air inside it to sustain him. When you grant him his allotted time to break out from the egg, he comes out from the egg to cry out his fulfillment, and he goes upon his legs when he has come forth from it. How plentiful it is what you have made, although they are hidden from view, sole God without another beside you. You created the earth as you wished, when you were by yourself. Before mankind, all cattle and kine, all beings on land who fare upon their feet, and all beings in the air who fly with their wings. The lands of Kor and Cush and the land of Egypt, you have set every man in his place. You have allotted their needs, every one of them according to his diet, and his lifetime is counted out. Tongues are separate in speech, and their characters as well. Their skins are different, for you have differentiated the foreigners. In the underworld you have made a Nile that you may bring it forth as you wish to feed the populace, since you made them for yourself, their utter master, growing weary on their account, Lord of every land. For them the Aten of the daytime arises great in awesomeness. All distant lands you have made them live, for you have set a Nile in the sky, that it may descend for them and make ways upon the mountains like the sea, to irrigate the fields in their towns. How efficient are your designs, Lord of eternity, a Nile in the sky for the foreigners and all creatures that go upon their feet, a Nile coming back from the underworld for Egypt. Your rays give suck to every field. When you rise, they live, and they grow for you. You have made the seasons to bring into being all you have made, the winter to cool them, the heat that you may be felt. You have made a far-off heaven in which to rise in order to observe everything you have made. Yet you are alone, rising in your manifestations as the living Aten, appearing, glistening, being afar, coming close. You make millions of transformations of yourself. Towns, harbors, fields, roadways, waterways, every eye beholds you upon them, for you are the Aten of the daytime on the face of the earth. When you go forth, every eye is upon you. You have created their sight, but not to see, only for the body which you have made. You are my desire, and there is no other who knows you except for your son Neferkeperu Re Wa and Re, for you have apprised him of your designs and your power. The earth came forth into existence by your hand, and you made it. When you rise, they live. When you set, they die. You are a lifespan in yourself. One lives by you. Eyes are upon your perfection until you set. Work is put down when you rest in the west. When you rise, everything grows for the king and for everyone who hastens on foot, because you have founded the land, you have raised them for your son, who has come forth from your body, the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, the one living on Ma'at, Lord of the two lands, Neferkeperu Re, Wa and Re, son of Re, the one living on Ma'at, master of regalia, Akhenaten, the long-lived and the foremost wife of the king whom he loves, the mistress of the two lands, Neferneferu Aten, Nefertiti, living and young forever and ever. It's by W.K. Simpson. Lovely. Just kind of makes me feel very spiritual. But it gets even better. The Song of the Harper. This poem, which may date back to the 12th dynasty, is one of ancient Egypt's most famous creations and one of the first lyric masterpieces of the world. Flourishing is he, this prince, for destiny is good and destruction is complete. Bodies pass on while others endure. Since the time of those who came before, the gods and those who came into being before me and who rest in their pyramid tombs. The nobles and spirits, too, being entombed in their pyramids. They built chapels, but their cult stations are no more. What became of them? Now I have heard the sayings of Imhotep and Hardadef, which are quoted in the proverb so much. What are their cult places? Their walls are dismantled, and their cult places exist no more, as if they had never been. There is no one who can return from there, to describe their nature, to describe their dissolution, that he may still our desires, until we reach the place where they have gone. So may your desire be fulfilled. Allow the heart to forget the performance of services for you. Follow your desire while you live. Place myrrh upon your head. Clothe yourself in fine linen, anointed with real wonders of the God's own stores. Increase your beauty, and let not your mind tire. Follow your desire in what is good. Acquire your possessions on earth. Do not control your passion until that day of mourning comes for you. The weary-hearted does not hear sobbing. Their sobbing cannot save the heart of a man from the tomb. Make holiday, but tire yourself not with it. Remember, it is not given to man to take his goods with him. No one goes away and then comes back. W.K. Simpson says. So anyway, ancient Egyptian stuff. I really like it. And I just wanted to share that. Akhenatens, Hymn to the Aten, and the Song of the Harper. I just think, we have to consider these things spiritually as we wake up every day and go out into the world, and what is it we're really creating for ourselves. I've never lived a day without believing that whatever I should want, I would have. And even in the midst of all the things that I've been struggles, through economic pendulums, they go up and down, especially when you're in certain industries. And sometimes you're affected. Some people can kind of escape through a lot of those things a lot easier. Me, I kind of went up and down, but it's really in an interesting place right now. Because the last 2 years have been intense, and now 2019 has become a very interesting prophecy, and it's hard to ignore. I don't think it's even a good idea to ignore 2019, because that says a lot about a lot of things. 2019 will prove a lot of things about a lot of things, especially when you're black. Especially when you're black. It's like, wow. So I've been thinking about this a lot. And all praise due to the ancestors for leaving the signs. Because, they always say that, history is written by the conquerors. But the conquerors can't stop the history. I mean, they can try to hide it. I mean, they've tried to. They've been successful, but only for 400 years. And, they haven't been completely successful, but they've been successful in keeping up it from the majority. But the majority has access now. The majority of the people have access to all the information that's been hidden before. Walk around with it in your hand. And, oddly enough, it's like they gotta give that to you in order to make it all work. Because if they don't give it to you, it won't quite work. Capitalism, marketing, business, making money. They set this system. I mean, this system's been set up. I mean, come on. Economic systems are set up, but they're also manipulated. And that's the sad part about it. Certain industries are manipulated very heavily. Be that as it may, we all are still creators. I have always dreamed of I said, one day I got to have a room just full of musical instruments. And as you can see. And, you knew that I knew that at a certain time I would need to have a space to just have the mood for the spiritual feelings of things that I know that are useful to me, that give me comfort through all the times and the trials and tribulations of life are coming at you, and but to stay calm and peaceful, but also expressive, being able to express ourselves, And I think we find comfort in that, expressing ourselves. If we can just do that, and I think we all have that desire to be accepted on a certain level, and I think we are on a lot of levels. But spirituality is pretty deep. It goes beyond religion. And to go beyond religion, sometimes you got to go back, way back. And then certain styles of living come back to you. Because who were the ancient Africans? And what is this thing about Negroes and Africans? There's a lot of talk coming out about Negroes and Africans. And Israelites. And these things have been written. It's always been there. Like I say, the conquerors, they can give their spin on whatever they want to give it on, but they didn't kill everybody. They tried to. It seems like they're doing their damnedest to try to wipe black people off the planet. And it's like, that's always been a question. Why? Why is that necessary for you? And the slave trade itself brings into a very ugly part of world history. Slavery. It's been pretty ugly. It's an ugly institutions. It brings out the worst in so many people. And you almost think that some people, I'm beginning to feel that everybody's feeling guilty about the African American. Because they say we are Negroes, we're not Africans. And when you look at the slave trade, the books that they wrote about it, I mean, they're still in existence. When you say, okay, they went down to the slave coast and they went inland and they found, or it wasn't just anybody, they were coming after the Negroes. So there's I'm going to work on getting the maps of these things, because I've seen some of the maps, and and let's face it, cartographers had a great role to play in the deceptions and the lies, and so there's imposters in history. The Russian Khazars, who call themselves Jews. And then all of these things are written in this Bible. I'm amazed, because there was a time when I just kind of discounted the Bible, but now I had to go back and take another look at the stories. Does it make me believe in it in the way that people want to believe in it? No, it doesn't do that, but I'm starting to see a description of the behaviors of people towards a group of people called Negroes. It's interesting, because you always get the impression that these people follow you around and copy everything you do. And then you, just by existing, you create industries and they flourish. Everybody gets rich, but the ones who create it. That's the crazy part about the system. So there's like a lot of vultures hanging around the Negro. So a good book, I think, I don't know, I'm going to probably look for a book and say, the Negro contributions to civilization. I don't know. I mean, if there's a Negro, then there's an African. And the Africans were selling the Negroes. They say our brothers. Brothers? It's like, there's more to the story. The slave trade thing, and who sold who. I mean, they sold millions, and they came after millions, and it seems that they got them from a place called Negroland, and apparently, till this very day, selling Negroes. So anyway, I don't know why these people continue to mistreat so-called Negroes. But there's certainly still a lot of Africans in Africa. Now, the Israelites and the Igbo and the Igbo, there's some, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure tribes have mixed throughout the millennia. I'm sure names have changed. But then when they started looking into structure and bone structure and facial features and hair and all of that kind of stuff, then yeah, some very interesting things come into play. Start looking like that. And skin tone too, same thing, dark for the tawny or the tannish looking people, I mean, but let's face it, from there, there's variables all over the place. But, we all want to know. I think for me, I just want to know who I really am. And I don't think people have ever been honest. I don't think anybody really knows, because I think they thought they were successful in hiding all this information, because the information is getting more and more intense. So, we learn to face a lot of the atrocities so we can understand the realities of what we face every day, what's going on. And I never tied myself to a Bible, but all of a sudden I seem to have a stronger connection to it now than I've ever even imagined. I said strong connection to the Bible. It doesn't mean I'm walking around following, because I think there's more that we need to read. I mean, there's more books I got to add to the whole knowledge base when it comes to, religious text. But what do the stories really mean? They've been after the Negro, and they've been, man, I've always felt like these people are just really, they want to just, they tend to be jealous of what you do just naturally. It's like, come on, really? I don't like that kind of feeling, but, I guess it's a natural thing when you're not quite sure of yourself. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story, Akhenatens' hymn to the Aten. I thought it was great. I just wanted to share that. And it kind of, helps me be a little bit more spiritual. And stay spiritual and try to stay on top of these things, because, next year is going to be big. I feel like it's going to be a big year. And I think we have to have a lot of voices out there just talking and sharing perspectives. And the more perspectives you hear, I think the more we understand, and we're able to do things about our condition and change it. Because we change it by changing our own behavior and changing how we act every day when we get up. It really is that simple. But having enough perspectives to know how that is to act and how to control that. And once you control that and you control yourself, you control your diet, you control your health, you control your spiritual health, you ask a lot of questions, you read, you research, you do what you can, because the time is now to do that. And there's a lot of people sharing information that's very important. So I'm just putting my 2 cents worth out on the internet. So that's what it's all about. But after that, I think I've said enough for today. We'll do it again. Peace.